If we look at our parsha, there's something very, very remarkable about it, and we can sometimes miss it. Parsha says that Hashem says to Bilam, to the wicked Bilam who tried to curse the Jewish people, Lo telech imahem, don't go with Balak and his friends. Lo ta'or et ha'am, do not curse the people. Ki varuch hu, because the Jewish people are blessed. The Jews are blessed. This statement, while it may seem very normative and expected, is very surprising, is very remarkable within the context in which it's found. In the book of Bamidbar, we have every reason to believe that the Jews are no longer blessed. After all, it was in this book of Bamidbar that we had mitonanim, people who, despite all of God's graces, complained and complained for absolutely no reason. The Asafsuf had a desire. The Erev Rav, those who joined the Jews, had some kind of a desire for meat, for all kinds of things. Moshe himself questioned God, Me'ayin li basar, where am I going to get all that meat from? And according to Rabbi Akiva, that was his essential sin. Miriam and Aharon spoke against Moshe, our leader and prophet. We had the Meraglim, the spies, and if that's not bad enough, afterwards, when they did want to go to Israel, they had Ma'apilim, those who went to Israel against God's will. Then in last week's parsha, we had Korach v'chol adato. Korach, the rebel against Moshe, against God, and all his men who were with him, the 250 men, the others. If that's not bad enough, after Korach perished, the people accused Moshe, Atem hamitem et am Hashem, you have killed the people of God. And 14,700 people died in that plague. And if that wasn't enough, the final blow, Moshe Rabbeinu hits the rock instead of speaking to the rock, or something to that effect. And Moshe and Aaron are condemned not to go over to the land of Israel. And now we say, Ki varuchu, you cannot curse the people because they are blessed. This is a blessed nation. Now it is true that we've gone through a transition. The generation of those sins has perished. They've gone on to another world. That was an old generation. We now have a new generation. This new generation in Parashat Chukat, our first parsha, they're going to conquer the land. They're going to enter a part of the land of Israel, the Ever HaYarden, the other side of the Jordan. But still, such a sinful people, described as Baruch, in the context of the book of Bamidbar, this is an amazing statement. And we would like to understand today, how is it that you can bless a sinful nation? How is it that the nation can remain blessed despite all the sins we and the book of Bamidbar have outlined? The Chizkuni, French commentator who lived after Rashi, says as follows: do not curse the people, says God to Bilam. God is very much well aware. Magefat dvar bal pa'or. God is aware that in just a moment, at the end of Parshat Balak, we will have one of the worst sins of all of Jewish history, the Parsha of Pa'or, where the Jewish people will worship and commit immorality with the idol of Pa'or. But if God would allow Bilam to curse the Jews now, people would say that the plague which would ensue as a result of the Jews' sinfulness with the idol Peor at the end of the Parsha was not due to their own sinfulness, but due to Bilam's curse. And God says, no, I will not let you take the credit for this plague. The plague will come of their own making. The Chizkuni is telling us a very important lesson. And the lesson is that my name, my reputation, my sense of being blessed or cursed does not come from incantations, does not come from palm readers and incantations. My sense of being blessed and being a mensch comes from myself and the actions and the choices that I make, not from outside, not from anyone else. So that's the first answer. You know why we're not cursed? Because curses will ultimately not come from someone else. They'll come from your own deeds. That's why God said they are baruch. They're not to be cursed, because our essential self is not to be cursed unless we do ourselves in. The Sfas Emes puts it very sharply, and this is our second point. It's not about the idea of our responsibilities from ourselves, not from others. The curse should come from ourselves, not from others. A second idea, and this idea we need to understand and develop very fully. The Sfas Emes, the second Ger Rabbi, writes that when it comes to the curse of the Jewish people, hachet shelahem, the sin of the Jewish people, b'mikreh v'lo be'etzem. The sinfulness of the Jewish people is something we happen to do, but it's not part of our essential nature. Our sinfulness never becomes attached to who we are, our basic identity. Our sinfulness is separate from our basic nature and identity. The Lekach Tov, Midrash Lekach Tov, one of the collections of Midrash, says, Baruch Yiyeh. What does it mean that the Jewish people are blessed? Baruch Yiyeh. He says as follows. Turn here to the Midrash, Lekach Tov. He says the Jewish people will be blessed. You know why? Because they've already been blessed. Let's take a look at the Midrash Lekach Tov. It says as follows. He says, you can't curse them. You know why? Because God already said, Baruch tiyeh mikol ha'amim. You will be blessed, Moshe says, from all the nations. And my bracha comes first. Ve'in kli shel bracha machzik klala. A nation's already been blessed by the Jewish people, by God, by Moshe. It just can't take that curse. The curse won't hold, it won't stick. Because fundamentally we've been blessed by God, we can't be cursed by God. Why though? Why are we fundamentally blessed? What is it about us that's fundamentally blessed? So here we turn to another Midrash Lekach Tov. The Midrash Lekach Tov says as follows. He says, Amar Bilam, Ma'akov Kvar Yisrael Murav Shemamim Shem Boram. The name of the Jewish people is interwoven and enmeshed with the name of God. V'ani mekalalam. I'm going to curse them. Hareinu mekalel Hashem. I would, God forbid, be cursing the very name of God. Ma'akov. How can I curse? Lo kava'el. Wouldn't I be cursing God Himself? It's not proper to curse the holy and awesome name of God. Even Bilam understood that the Jewish people could not be cursed because our identity, our essence is tied in with the name of God, with the identity of God. Our connection to God is so deep that to curse the Jewish people is, God forbid, to curse the name of God Himself.